So remember that. Map out the shapes. I always say, try to think about what are the chord shapes. This is chord melody, solo guitar. So it's always based off of chord shapes. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on this lesson today. It's an easy solo jazz guitar arrangement for the beautiful song, My Romance by Rogers and Hart. Let's get started. So there's our 1 chord, 2 chord, 3, flat 3 dim, and the flat 3 dim always goes to the 2. So we have this. So that's the first 2 bars. It's a lot of stuff, but I wanted to show you that I'm basically just thinking these chord shapes. C major 7, that's why I was saying what I'm thinking here. D minor 7, E minor 7. These are often what I call grip shapes. Now instead of going to E flat dim here, I chose to go over here to the 6th fret root, okay? And the melody is this. And then D minor 7, just a partial. Okay, and then G7 here, which G7 can also be here. Okay, it's a little bit darker there actually, so if you make this written, so you get this. And I'll stop there. I'm going to play that again very slowly, the melody. Remember that. Map out the shapes. I always say, try to think about what are the chord shapes. This is chord melody, solo guitar. So it's always based off of chord shapes. In different ways, sometimes it will be with a 9, as I did here on D minor, to the G7. But before I go into that, notice that cliche, that A minor, that chromatic cliche, but it goes to A7 instead. And then I substituted C sharp dim 7 for the A7 because that's the leading tone chord that pulls us. That's a dim 7 sub, and that's what pulls us into that D minor add 9. And that's a sub 2. That's E minor 7 flat 5, which is a substitute for C9. So it's really just that C chord, and you turn it to dominant, but you could just go to the 3 and play E half diminished, and that equals C9, just there's no bass. And then that goes nicely to F major 7. And that chord right there, that's kind of a Django-y chord here. That C9 chord, but again, here's C in the bass. And you have a D, you have the G, and you got the C in there. There's no third, but that's okay, it'd be here. So it's just kind of implied. No hide away. Beautiful melody. The melody's just, and then you could go boom, chuck, boom, and that's E flat 13. So again, plan out your chord shapes. No soft. D minor 11. And then back to the second A. Wide Awake, the C section here. Thump out that bass. A7 sharp 5. Ooh, here comes some thirds. 4, And then finally, and now it's tritone sub here, by the way, that A flat 7. That's a C over D, D9 sus4 is just D, C major over D. Of course, it's called D9 sus4. And then the bass, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then these big chords here. It's a D minor 9 actually with over G. F major 7, you just say that, F major 7 over G. And then G13, and then D diminished 7, which is, if you had G in the bass, that makes it a dark flat 9 chord. Good. Hopefully you knew that, G7 flat 9. And then C major 2, 3, 4. Get through some harmonics. Or natural harmonics on the 7th fret, if you wanted to there. And there you go. That's the arrangement.